Whenever you're handing something off to a client as a designer, there's always a risk that the client is going to take it and ruin it.
This is Blind, a brand strategy design consultancy based in Santa Monica, California. Since 1995, Blind has used the power of design to help diverse clients reach their customers and stand out in the marketplace. In this series, you'll get a rare glimpse behind closed doors and see the process of rebranding a company from start to finish. This is Building a Brand. It has now been over a year since Josh Hamilton first called Blind to find out if we could help him with a rebrand, a call that left Ben puzzled.
That first call, it was this tension between wanting to help and not being sure that I could help.
Their problems boiled down to two simple things. The first centered around the logo.
I don't know, that crazy all-in 4-color, small font, weird stuff logo I made, it caused more problems just from a practical standpoint. How does this look on a bottle cap? How does it look on a koozie?
The second issue involved the next leap for Hamilton Family Brewery.
Because we're going to be moving more to distributing our product. It's going to be on shelves a little further from our hometown, where our hometown crowd gets us. We've shook their hands in the tasting room. We've made connections there, and that goes a long way with them. But now it's going to be a can of beer sitting on a shelf that someone's going to need to connect with.
Ben and Matthew got together with Josh and Crysten and dove deep into Hamilton's business, their customers, and who they hope to attract. With that understanding, Blind's team of designers set out to create the logo work, packaging, and website design Hamilton would need to go to the next level. While no process is free of bumps in the road, the two creative directors hit a roadblock with Josh on the logo.
And he says his main concern is that a cool-looking H has no meaning behind it, other than it's the first letter of our company name.
Ben and Matthew were determined, however, and kept working until they had a breakthrough.
What if we took the hop shape, we maintained it, right? Except we just made the stem bigger and pointed like this. Ooh.
With the logo issue solved, the rest of the project would fall into place a little more easily.
Those last moments, the pressure cooker creates diamonds.
With all the major elements completed, Ben and Matthew only have one thing left to do.
So now we're here at the very end, and now we're just wrapping up the brand style guide, which we're going to deliver to Josh. And the brand style guide essentially are rules of how to use the logo, the brand, all the visual guidelines that one might need in order to make more stuff on. And usually we're handing off to a design team, right? So we work with bigger clients and they usually have an internal design team, or we pass this off to, this time we're delivering to Josh.
Whenever you're handing something off to a client as a designer, there's always a risk that the client is going to take it and ruin it. And I've been in this position so many times where 6 months, a year down the road, you run into a product that you designed or a website that you stood up, and you look at it and you don't recognize it because it's been warped beyond recognition. That's a real fear. And when we're not handing the style guide off to a design team, that fear gets heightened.
Yeah, so we'll see. We're gonna wrap this up, send this off to Josh, and probably check in on him in a couple of weeks.
In Rancho Cucamonga, weeks after Blind had completed the branding process, Josh and Crysten had been preparing to reveal their new brand to the public for the first time.
So here we are, weeks later. We've delivered the brand guidelines. Josh has been very busy, supposedly making a bunch of stuff, and he's ready to flip the switch from the old brand to the new brand. And he's actually doing a big brand reveal at the brewery. So we're gonna head out over there to Rancho Cucamonga and see what's changed.
It's time to party.
Before the party begins, however, Josh and Crysten will need to work out plans for switching the identity on both the merchandise and the tasting room.
So we had a lot of merchandise and stuff with the old logo on it that we essentially wanted to burn through before the reveal of the new logo. And we wanted to treat the new design with reverence because we really liked it. So we didn't want to slowly fade it in and fade the other one out. We wanted just this what it was, and bam, here's the new one. So we had to order in a bunch of stuff, sit on it, order more stuff and sit on it. So it was it's really challenging to keep it a secret, to hide it, to finance it, and all that stuff. But eventually, once it was all there and it was ready, and we gave ourselves a deadline, we just started marching towards it.
I knew Josh was good, but I didn't know he was like super secret spy good. I mean, to keep all that under wraps, that is crazy.
This really felt like a big deal for Crysten and I, because it was, I mean, this has been our baby. And every step of the way, everything about every look has been a decision we made together at our dinner table. So this is the first time we brought other people in to determine a huge aspect of the brewery. So there was a lot of like trust given, and we felt like you guys really honored that trust and came up with something fantastic. So then we didn't want to just put a sticker on a door and call it a day. So we wanted to do that process justice.
When the blind crew arrived to film the logo reveal, Josh decided to start everyone off with a sneak peek of the tasting room. But first, he wanted to show Ben and Matthew the production cans.
The first thing he showed us, he opened the fridge door, walked us in, and right there was this big wall of the brand new double mango can.
And seeing that was so gratifying because it's literally the culmination of everything that we've been doing, sitting right there on the floor in a cooler.
He had the 4-packs of these things, and he added this cool colored plastic top to hold them all together. I was like, and it matched perfectly the orange that was on the can. And it's like, gosh, Josh, you did a great job. This was amazing. And I remember my reaction there. I was just completely floored.
So good.
This is the best part right here.
Yeah, no, I remember when I saw that, when you guys were going through all the options, I was like, oh, okay, and then I saw Love People Love Beer option, I was like, oh my God. that's the one, dude. I remember Crysten had the same reaction. I think she squeezed my shoulder, which was like,
And the cool thing too was he still had a palette of the old can designs. So we got to see what the cans look like before we even got involved and what they look like now. And the difference was so stark.
So seeing the cans in the cooler was amazing, but one of the things that I was a little worried about was how Josh would take the brand that we had so carefully crafted together and then extend it into his space. The rest of the work that we hadn't touched yet, like signage or wayfinding or any of the interior design, I hadn't seen any of that yet. Walking into the tasting room was a little bit nerve-wracking for me. Dude, this looks killer!
yeah, good.
You did good. You did good. So good.
It was so good.
So good.
The first thing I saw was the big blue wall with the logo huge, massive on there. It said Hamilton Family Brewery. Then he had a rack of a bunch of shirts. And I was like, whoa.
The merch.
The merch was amazing.
Fantastic.
The hats. Oh my gosh.
The thing that really impressed me was the wall of labels. So he took our labels that we designed and blew them up to probably what? 2 by 3 foot
2 by 3
signs, and then hung them on the paneled wall. And so it was this grid of all the beers that he had on tap and the colors from the labels. I mean, it just looked beautiful.
After opening their outside beer service and letting customers mingle while employees finished preparations for the changeover, it was time for Josh and Crysten to reveal the new logo so that they could open up the tasting room and officially start a new chapter for Hamilton Family Brewery.
So when he got on stage and he gave his speech, man.
So now it's been almost 5 years since we opened these doors.
Yeah.
And honestly, Josh and I have been blown away by the support and love of all of you, our community.
You guys are drinking so much beer, as you'll see. We don't have very much in there. But we've gotten bigger tanks. They're all filled with beer now, and we're going to be rolling those out soon. But we're also got, as you'll see today, fresh cans, and we're trying to make big moves in that direction and stuff. But our tree logo, the smaller it gets, it more looks like a piece of broccoli or something. It's kind of unrecognizable, you know? So I started watching these videos on YouTube, like, oh, how can I design a cleaner logo? And I found this group called the Futur. And they were super, super helpful. And I got pretty far doing it until I was watching these videos and they started talking about letter kerning. I think, did I say that right, Matt? Yeah. That's like the spacing between each letter. And I was like, I am out of my depth here. I'm just going to call these guys and see if they can help. So we reached out to the parent company, Blind, and some of them are out here. They have the cameras. And so this is, gosh, a year's worth of work. We didn't go into this lightheartedly. This was a big decision to go in and change the logo of what meant so much to us. And they were super supportive with that, making sure that this new thing that we're about to show you tells our story and ties in elements of our past and helps us grow in the future. So I'm excited to show it with you. So show it to you.
The entire Rancho Cucamonga community was there. They're there listening, and I could tell that they're bought into the story. I mean, they're there
They had
early
ownership.
morning. Yeah, they had ownership. They felt like it's a part of them. And then there was that moment where I could tell he's gearing up to pull this big tarp down, right? And I was like, oh, so this is the moment. Either everyone's gonna hate it or everybody's gonna love it. So if their audience had responded in a negative way or a lukewarm way, I would have felt awful, as if we didn't do our job for them. That would have been the worst thing that could possibly happen. Oh my gosh. The community's behind this. They love this. And then the cherry on top was, I could tell Josh was feeling it. He was so excited. He's like, oh, wait, there's more.
So this was all hand painted, the original. And in the icon in the center, what you'll notice is there's 3 elements going on there. What it looks like growing out of the ground is a stump of a tree with leaves. It's actually the silhouette of a house. So if you guys are familiar with our story, we sold our house to start our brewery. So right there at the center, that's where it all started, is the house. Then the leaves growing out of that tree-like stump of a house coming from the ground make it we still have our tree, but if you step back further, it looks like a hop, which is one of our favorite ingredients in beer. So we have 3 things all rolled in this nice, clean icon. We have a hop, a house, and our Hamilton tree.
This magical thing had happened. So after they did the big reveal, the canvas came down, they saw the logo, then the tasting room opened up. So they opened up the doors and they let people inside to see everything. And then when people migrated in, on the outside, they also had flipped the switch.
Yeah, I was nervous about every little detail. We had to plan it for, I think, a week. You know, like at this time when Josh starts talking, you go in and unlock this door, you take that person to change their shirt, you don't come out until so we had it down to like the minute what was happening while we were on the stage talking. So our staff were like little brewery ninjas. And then by the time we revealed it, everything was switched over while no one was looking. And so that was hard, but fun, worth it.
All of a sudden, magically, all of the staff were wearing the new Hamilton Family Brewery shirts with the new logo, which turned out amazing. We didn't design, Josh designed that with the brand style guide, and it looked phenomenal. On the outside, then all of a sudden the table where people were ordering beers from now had this merch selection. So you could see all the hats and the shirts and everything. So I think it goes to show that Josh is really about the experience.
Yeah. It's also a courageous move because a lot of brands will want to do this kind of slow drip just to test things out slowly. It's a good strategy. I mean, especially if you already have an established customer base. But Josh is like, nope, screw it. We're gonna flip the switch and go all in.
We did the reveal, and then it seemed like there was like a pretty mad dash to go inside. We had more beer options inside. Not a lot that day. A lot of people were drinking, so our options got low. But everybody was getting inside quickly, and they were looking at the logo on the wall and the new menuing system and the new shirts. And I think the craziest thing was people coming up to me in the shirt 10 minutes after we revealed the logo, or with that branded hat on, saying like, I love this new thing. I love the logo. This is so cool. I think one of the best compliments I got, I forget who told it to me, it's like, you know what this new logo is? It says that you're not a little backyard brewery anymore. Like, we're here, we're Rancho's Brewery. We're a legit company now.
Hamilton Family Brewery's rebrand was popular with the attendees at the launch party, but Matthew and Ben are curious to check in with Josh and Crysten and see how their goal of getting into retail distribution is going.
The big question in my mind is, when are they going to go retail?
How is it going to perform when it hits the shelf? Luckily, I had a chance to go do a follow-up call with Josh and Crysten to see where they're at with this whole process. Hey.
Our cans are now in 5 different bev modes, which is pretty cool. So
Wow.
they originally signed up for 3 and they flew off the shelf so fast that 2 more signed up. So we're getting those out soon. So
Holy
it's happening.
smokes.
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's so cool to watch the last episode about the labels and then like seeing them like potentially go on shelves, and we're like, they're actually on the shelves right now, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's super exciting.
It's caused us our sales and distro guy. He's going full time next week, salary
Congrats.
position, because he's just crazy
Killing
busy
it.
now.
Yeah.
We had to hire from a brewer's assistant to now just another brewer. So we got 2 guys brewing, morning shift, night shift, trying to keep up. So it's been growing pretty awesome. I would say 20% growth for the second quarter. I think that's what we're looking at right now.
Wow. Dude, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I was gonna say for the little Bevmo test, like you did the 3, did they say why they flew off the shelf? Were they able to tell your story? Like how did that happen?
It's weird. The only, I think, differentiating marker we had on there was by the price. It might have just said new. Some of them said local. But if you looked at the shelf, there was a lot that said that. So it wasn't like they did anything extra. So, I mean, she actually went to Bevmo with the kids like the first day they were there to see if they could find it.
Yeah, we did like a treasure hunt.
A little scavenger hunt.
And they stand out. I mean, they like it's significant compared to like our cans. There is a beauty to our cans, like sitting next to everything else.
Yeah.
And they were top shelf. So the orange label, Double Mango sticks out. They're beautiful on the shelf.
I went and it was just an empty spot, which I like seeing.
You're like, where'd they go?
I know a guy. I can get Double Mango whenever I want.
Wow, that's awesome.
The fact that they're doing it right now is amazing. They're in stores.
Yeah.
The product is flying off the shelf. Just, wow.
They can't keep up with demand. They're growing. They're hiring more people. These are all great signs. They've grown 20% in the last quarter. What the heck? Now I feel really good. Now I feel like we've closed this big loop from the very beginning of this process with them, going into retail, rebranding, and getting them something that's going to stand out in the marketplace. Hearing this news from them it's so rewarding.
Our work here is done.
Before we go, a message from Ben and Matthew.
This is the very last episode of season 1 of Building a Brand, and I want to say thank you to all of you who have been following along this journey, who have been making it so special with your comments, by sharing this stuff, and just interacting with us every step of the way. It's been so fun seeing how you all have responded to this.
I mean, getting direct messages on the Instagram from you guys when you watch the show has been one of the most rewarding parts of this process, because I feel like I'm getting to know you guys through this process even better. And what an adventure to go on together.
Yeah, this is the first time where we really get to reveal what's behind the curtains and show you every single step from the first meeting all the way to the final delivery, and then show you guys our process, what we do, and the power of design, what it can really do and how it can help a business.
Yeah, and I also want to thank Chris in this. For those of you guys who don't know, Chris is the founder and CEO of both Blind and the Futur. And at the beginning of this process, over a year ago, I approached Chris and I said, listen, I have a client that can't afford Blind services, but I think that there's some potential here to document this process with this couple. And he was willing to take that gamble with us. And the amount of resources and team and money that have been at our disposal for this kind of test experiment, it's been out of this world. So first thank you goes to Chris. And I hope you guys can agree that the end result, it's something special. I've never seen anything like this on YouTube or anywhere else, Netflix, Hulu. Nobody's got anything that gives you this inside look at our industry the way that we've done here. And I want to give the crew the credit for this. Matthew, Stuart, Kevin, I mean, you guys have shaped this story in a way that I'm speechless at the way that it's turned out. So thanks to the crew.
And now that we're here, like you said, this is unlike anything that we've probably seen out there in terms of documenting and sharing this process openly. We want to do more of this for you. We'd like to do a second season.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. But there are some challenges ahead. Like we said, this was a huge investment of over the past year with tons and tons of resources, so it was not an easy feat by any means.
Yep.
And it took a lot for us to get to this point, and I'm pretty exhausted now. We're at the tail end of all of this. However, I'd love to do more, because what the result of this, between the community, between what we were able to do with the Hamiltons, and just sharing all of this and creating a story around this, has been phenomenal. So we're currently working on a website that will expand on everything that we have shown here in this short series, give you bonus material, extra behind the scenes, and push you in other places so that you can learn more about the different processes that we've shown throughout this series. You can go check out the website. We're going to put it in the description below so that you can follow along and continue to learn with us through this process. In the future, there are plenty of other things that we'd love to do with this series.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we'd love to do season 2, and I don't know how we're gonna make that happen yet. Season 2, ideally, we'd like to get funded. Maybe there's a sponsor out there that wants to help us fund season 2. Maybe we crowdsource season 2.
Yeah.
Maybe we get the attention of a distributor like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or somebody who might be willing to take a chance on us. And that's something that you guys can help us with. Maybe you could share it out there and tag somebody you know that might be working at one of these places. Like, that would be a dream for us.
We'd also love to hear your ideas. So if you have an idea of how we can fund the second season of Building a Brand, put it in the comments section below. At the very minimum, guys, you can help us by spreading the word of the first season. So share it on your social channels, tag somebody who would love to see this. The more reach we have, the more we know it's something that you guys want to see, and we'll be able to do more.
If you guys want to go the extra mile and really help us out, the easiest way you can do that is to buy a course from us. The thing is, we also offer courses on things like typography, logo design, how to pitch, how to project manage your team. All of these things, we have a whole set of courses which you can check at academy.thefutur.com. If you make a small purchase there, it helps us immensely. And with that, we'd actually like to come out to you guys. So if there are any events that you think we would be appropriate for, invite us. We'd love to come out and speak or do a workshop, do a screening. Maybe we can get Josh to give us some beer to bring out to all of you guys. I don't know. I mean, we'd love to just be in touch with you guys, the community. So we'd love to see your faces in real life and not through a screen.
At the very minimum, guys, for those of you who are only here watching Building a Brand, check out the other content that we have. There's tons of educational material on our channel. Connect with us on Instagram. We'd love to hear more from you.
And with that, I want to say, again, thank you so much for being a part of this journey. We're so happy and excited that you've come to join us, and we hope to see you in a second season of Building a Brand. Don't be a stranger.
The hats.
Oh my gosh. Jinx.
Jinx. Dang it!
That's what you get.
This chair, you guys haven't seen this, but this chair breaks on me like every single time we shoot.